Magicide was such a fun book to write. It was inspired by sitting around with magician friends, listening to them tell backstage stories and gossip about other magicians. Las Vegas was like that. Lots of people in the entertainment industry knew each other. And because I was married to a stand up comedian and we'd lived and worked for so long in Vegas, we of course knew other people in the business. And they all talked about each other. Even when I worked in advertising, it was the same thing. The business community was small, and it always seemed like everybody knew everybody else's business. In Magicide, my character, Maxwell Beecham Jones, is a composite of a couple of famous magicians, and naturally, I'm not going to say who. And the other magicians in the story are all modeled after friends we know. Of course, when you're writing about your hometown, houses and neighborhoods and businesses are easy to model and describe. And the trick ending, which naturally I'm not going to tell you here, was inspired by a rumor around town about another famous magician. My model for my female detective in the story, Sherry Raymer, was a woman I met on a ride-along when I was taking the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department's Citizens Police Academy. It was a 12-week course. She had a family pizza restaurant called Mama de Palmas, and she'd called the cops when two guys doing a drug deal in her parking lot refused to leave when she confronted them. That restaurant happened to be in my neighborhood, and I later took my husband there for Italian food. That's how we got to know Angelique. And turns out she was a retired Metro police detective and her husband was a cop. She shared a lot of insight about her experience, and she was thrilled when I mentioned her restaurant in my book. I got the idea for the roller coaster escape stunt the first time I saw a video at the opening of Lance Burton's show at the Monte Carlo. He'd done this stunt in 1999 out at Buffalo Bill's Hotel and Casino in Primm, Nevada, and he'd filmed it. Just watching this video made my hands sweat. The late Johnny Thompson, the ultimate magician's magician, had mentored Lance for that escape stunt, and he was really supportive in reading what I wrote to be sure I was writing factually without giving everything away. One funny thing that happened while I was writing Magicide was the afternoon our magician friend Jack Hayden was over, and we were sitting around the dining room table brainstorming titles for the book. My initial title idea, Murder by Magic, had already been used, so I didn't want to use that. Jack had suggested Abracadedly, and we were kicking around that idea when my husband blurted, "How about poof, you're fucked?" I think this is how these things go when you're an author. You never know what's going to come up that you can use in your story. I hope you enjoy reading Magicide as much as I enjoyed writing it, and that you'll consider rating it and writing a few lines in an honest review on this book page.